How we doing? You know, I've been raised that when you do public speaking, you're supposed to tell a joke first, and I really don't have a joke, but I do want to tell you a little story. How beautiful this community is. So this morning I was running late because, the schools haven't started yet, but August 17th, traffic patterns will change. So I was helping my wife at her job. So I ran by McDonald's to go get something to eat. I go to pay for it, and the gentleman said, "Good morning, Mayor." McDonald's. How does the guy at McDonald's know who I am? That shows you the community we're in. And then my daughter, who lives here in Oklahoma City, Edmond area, reminded me that you're dad first and mayor second. She said, "Dad, what are you doing for the rest of the day?" "Well, I'm getting my hair fixed up, ready for the state of the city thing." And "What are you talking about? What I'm doing for the rest of the day?" She said, "I need you to do something. I need you to do some weed eating." Well, by I know a certain time tomorrow morning, I got to do some weed eating. So that just reminded me, even of this community, that's why we moved here. We can do all things together. So that was my joke. Kristen, thank you very much for welcoming me. This table right here of our council people, Tom, Stacy, Barry, thank you. Because you all know what we all go through every day, every week, every 2 weeks, serving our community that we love so much. Without your support, I couldn't do what I do here, period. I'm out of my comfort zone today. Why? Because I actually wrote a script. So let's see how far I stay on that. Thanks to our city manager, I have so many thanks I want to get right now. Thanks to our city manager, Scott Rigby, and the over 800 plus employees of the city of Edmond. Thanks to our major stakeholders in attendance today. We have Edmond Public Schools, we have UCO, we have the legislative leaders, we have elected officials, we have first responders, we have city employees, and our constituents. We cannot forget our nonprofits who provide valuable support to our community. Also, we have to thank our chamber. They're a vital partner for our economic development in the city and hosting the State of the City luncheon. I really appreciate each and every one of you all being here today. So, this is my third State of the City address, and I'm honored to stand here in front of you to address Edmond's opportunities and challenges. I was just reflecting the other day that I realized that I've been serving the citizens of Edmond in some capacity for over 27 years. So when I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, "Why are you doing this, dude? Why are you still doing it?" Well, because I want to help the next generation stay and be a part of Edmond. To live, work, and play, raise a family just like many of us have in Edmond. Let's create a community that our children, our grandchildren, have that same opportunity we had, that same Edmond experience that we have and that we have today. So let's reflect a little bit. In last year's State of the City, my theme was community engagement. We had an upcoming election. I also like to thank everyone who also participated in the local election process. I would also like to thank everyone who voted for me for my second term. I also talked about last year about going to our events that we have in Edmond, because we have a lot of culturally involved events. We have Heard on Heard Vibes, the market, which is overflowing this year, our visual arts that we have throughout the city, and Liberty Fest. We talked about exploring the opportunities on all of our various boards and commissions. We also talked last year about staying to date with, check this out, accurate information. What is the real truth? We also talked about shop local. That has been a theme that we've always had in Edmond, shop local. When we were going through the pandemic, guess what? That helped us get through the pandemic with our sales tax, that we were still in the positive. And then something that is critical for all of our mental health, we talked about last year, talk to your neighbor. Don't isolate yourself wherever you are. So the question now is, why are you here today? You heard me speak last year. Some of you, this is your third time around. Why are you coming back to hear me speak? You're not in this room by any chance. You have an intentional desire to take time out of your schedule to be here. So I want this message to bring value to you, your organization, and the entire Edmond community. My expectation is that you take what you hear today and join me and the council to intentionally collaborate to improve the things that we value dearly in Edmond. Back in 1988, how many of you all were here in 1988? Not, okay, I was here. But back in 1988, the citizens of Edmond came together and created this document right here. This is tomorrow's Edmond document. Over 200 citizens came together to create what vision do we want Edmond to have to be like in the future. If you read this document right now, this is Edmond. There were former mayors on there. Your current mayor was on the committee on here. The Edmond we love, live, and play in was drafted in this document. Then over time, the city staff and the various councils have implemented the ideas that are in that document. Today, and over the past decade plus, the council, we have our strategic plan. We create this document yearly that gives us the vision of where we're going to go in that year. For several years now, we've used that strategic planning session to take into account the wants, the desires, the needs of our community. We're going to continue to do that. So I ask people to, if you're wondering what is our guidebook, here's our strategic plan. That's what we're using for that year. So what are some of our successes? We've done a lot. How many of you all, when you drove in, saw this big building going up across the street? Yeah. So Edmond is in a good space right now. We've had opportunities and challenges that other cities would love to have. Yesterday, I was in a meeting of mayors of Oklahoma, and the issues and problems they have, we don't have. We have some of the similar, but majority of them we don't have. They have other issues that we don't have. The way I look at it, a challenge is not a negative event. It is a positive opportunity. So my challenge for each and every one today is let's take advantage of that. Our community is filled with people just like you, energetic, thoughtful, caring individuals. And we all want the same thing. We want the best for our community. Our goals and ambitions are not just for this year, but for the next generation, 10, 20, 30 years from now. We have the power to continually shape the city's future. And this is a time we must step up and take action. Over the past year, the city has worked hard to prioritize growth and development partnerships and public safety improvements. So let's sit back this afternoon. Don't fall asleep because you had a beautiful lunch. And let's look at some of our accomplishments. Our year-to-date sales tax and our use tax collections have been fluctuating up and down for the past year, but they still remain in the positive. Our lodging tax are up at this time by 4.74%. The most recent annual inflation rate is around 2.96%, down from 4.05 last month and 9.06 last year. One thing that hasn't gone away is some of our supply chain issues. But we as a city, a council, we're working through all of those issues to still provide product and services for the city of Edmond. The city economy is still going in a positive direction, but we need to take action to ensure we continue to have the financial capacity to support the many needs and desires of our community. We have approved, if you didn't know, we have approved a 3-year contract with police and fire that will help with the recruitment and retention of that needed service. Our current police academy, 23-09, I just met the cadets the other day. There's 7 fine cadets in there. This year, back in May, our fire graduated another class, 30. I think there was like 13 in that class. That was the 33rd recruit class that they've just graduated. So that's just some of the things. Other things that we've done. You probably remember last year I talked about 2nd and Bryant. I'm going to talk about Second and Bryant again. Why? I use that as a model. Because we're going to have a lot of Second and Bryants in Edmond. I was going to go pull one of the orange cones from one of the construction sites and just put it up here, because that's going to be the new color of Edmond. There's going to be orange cones everywhere. But the thing is, we have to balance where they are and all that. We can't have 2 to 3 Second and Bryants going on at the same time, but we can manage 1 or 2 at a time. Or, that is part of our development. That was a $7.5 million investment there. And our next loving intersection is probably going to be Danforth and Kelly. So what I tell people this, business people, the small businesses in that area, and the citizens, one thing we have to understand, even though we might have some congestion there in the area, we have small businesses in the area, we still must support those businesses that are there. Because you will be upset if you walk away, you avoid that intersection and don't give your business to that organization there, and when you come back, they're closed. So I'm counting on you to still take the time to go sit in 5 minutes worth of congestion to get there. We heard a lot of concerns and issues about 66 and 77. Guess what? How do y'all like driving on 66 and 77 right now? It's pretty smooth. It's getting smoother. It's almost complete. That was a great opportunity for us to work with ODOT and get the surface repaved. And the beauty of it, it was done at night. So we're going to look at every opportunity we have in the future. If we have a road construction project like that, what can be done at night, what can't be done at night? We're going into this world of intellectual properties and all that. So our ITS Phase 3, that's a digital solution that we're putting in place throughout the city, going from 15th Street in Santa Fe to all the way to I-35. Those upgrades are going to help us traverse the city. How many of y'all been by Cheyenne Middle School? The new stoplight up there. Is it better, worse for you? But guess what? That's to help people traverse across Covell. We're always looking for ways to increase safety opportunities in the city. And then our co-train and Covell Improvements. We've always looked at, Nick, I'm going to use your words here, Nick Massey, former council person. Covell is an economic generator for us. We've always looked at it that way. So several years ago, council made the commitment in their strategic planning to continue to enhance Covell. We're seeing those improvements today. So across the street, Crest, they're building their second store in Edmond. And for some of y'all might not, we're talking about different things with Crest coming in than we talked about when they first came in. How many of y'all remember when the first Crest came in, the boulder that is out in front of the Crest on 15th Street was like the #1 topic for that development because it was perceived to be a sign. We're not even talking about the boulder that's going to go over here. We're up here knocking on the door. When are you going to open up? We've changed. That shows you how our city has grown and matured there. Now Crest is knocking on my door. It's like, when are you going to get the light up? It's coming. There's also improved development that's on the southwest corner. Oh, by the way, the anticipated opening for Crest is October 15th. And yeah, very good. And then we're going to enhance the entrance over here to the Edmond Convention Center and to Crest there. So we're making the investments that are necessary to help the citizens and the commuters traverse our city. Some of the other things that we talk about from infrastructure, you probably heard me talk about, there's a lot of things that are underneath our ground here that we have to take care of. We have some pipes in Edmond that are very old. We have, as a growing city, guess what? You have to take care of the old, just like take care of the new. Just like we have Mercy Health, they take care of my inner pipes for me. That was a joke. Come on. That was a joke. So what do we have going on here? Our smart choice, our meter installation. That is to help with this. We're IT, we are a data-driven community now, and that's going to help, one, take this away, if anything, from the meter. When the power goes out, if you have a smart meter out there, once it's hooked up and it's all on, you don't have to call the electric department anymore. The meter is going to send the signal and say it's out. Every time, the few times in the 36 years I've lived there, my power's gone out, my wife always looked at me, "You gonna call the electric department?" I'm like, "No," because one of the electric guys lived around the corner from me and I knew he was gonna call. Our 33rd Street water. You've heard me talk about this before and I will always talk about it. Any community that controls their water controls their destiny. That has been from all of time. Any community that controls their water. So we're working with all of our water projects that are listed there. We're spending millions of dollars so that we, the city of Edmond, can control our water and we can tell Oklahoma City goodbye. I'm ready to get off the contract with them that we have to have that option. Once we get our enhancements in, guess what? We will tell Oklahoma City goodbye, that we don't have to buy any water from them. We will have the capacity from our own lake, Arcadia Lake, to do that. What else do we have? Oh, that's with our wastewater. We're increasing our capacity from 6 million gallons a day to 12 million gallons. And that's also to meet some of the DEQ and the EPA requirements that are coming down the pike from us. And then we had our Danforth water line that's also extending that capacity of water. If you haven't realized something, Edmond is growing, and we're doing things under the ground in anticipation of what's coming. I want to personally thank all of our state and federal partnerships. I remember when I was campaigning, and first time and the second time, and people were like, "Why are you working to have federal relationships? Why are you working to have state relationships?" Because guess what? Some of those federal and state people, they also live in Edmond, but they also have an opportunity to help us out. And let me tell you, over the past few years, we have been helped out greatly. If you don't realize, we do have a partnership with the Guthrie Edmond Airport. Well, there's potential for us to receive some federal funding from there. Guthrie Edmond Airport's not going to become a Fort Worth airport, but it's going to become a regional airport that can help support this part of us, the region. Edmond, Guthrie, Stillwater, this whole region, Tinker Air Force Base, it has that potential. From the state, please understand this, ODOT has an 8-year plan. If you're not on their 8-year plan for road enhancements, improvements, you're not on their plan. And guess what? There's no movement around because you're not on that 8-year plan. A few years ago, we were able to get on the 8-year plan. What you see on 66 and 77, that is part of that relationship where that's going on. In a little while, you're going to see our protected turnaround is on I-35 on the major intersections. We're going to have that. On frontage road is going to go to single lane on I-35. This is to help control traffic. And people are going to say, "Oh, what about the safety of vehicles going one way?" The study has already been done. There's no increase in time because it's going one way. And then you might have seen in the paper the other day, they talked about the I-35 and Waterloo Road interchange. The state's going to put a, divergent diamond in there, but that's going to increase the capacity up there. Those are part of the partnerships, the relationships that we've established over the years at the local and the federal level that helps us for that. Public safety is just not about numbers, it's about people. So then we also looked at what are some of our quality of lives. How many of you all have been near the new Kicking Bird? It is not, thank you, it is just not a golf course anymore. It's an adventure. Yes, you can play golf, but you can eat, you can drink, you can socialize, you can have receptions there. By the way, if you didn't know, Kicking Bird is the highest point in Edmond. So the overview site there is just wonderful. In the first 23 days, it opened up on July 1st, there were 5,476 rounds played. They brought in over $580 $184,000 in the first 23 days. That's tremendous. That is tremendous revenue. And opportunity goes beyond that, because now the way the course has been designed, there's opportunity for other types of events to come there, either from a senior tournament to the collegiate tournaments. And if you didn't realize this, is that Edmond has a historic presence in golf in the world. And from our public schools, we currently have 5 players on the PGA that graduated from Edmond Public Schools playing in PGA. I can go right down the street and ask Mayor Holt, how many do you have? He ain't got 5. So, we're looking at our quality of life. We all love our quality of life. We all talk about it in various ways. So one of the things that the cities we're utilizing is, how can we get some better data, some more analytical data about what we have, what capacity do we have, and all that. So what you see here on the list are some of the things that we've had studies done. The Arcadia Lake Master Plan. What opportunities can be out there? You can put so much in one area that you take away the beauty and all that. So the master plan has looked at that. We had Victor Sports a facility assessment. We have a lot of youth sports. A lot of you have your kids, grandkids, or you might have even played youth sports here in Edmond. But what is the overall capacity here? So they came in and said, hey, you're good at this, you're not so good at this, you're mediocre at that. It gives us some data that we can look at. The second library in YMCA, that's one of the partnerships that we've had for a long time. So we're going to, as we move to the east, that's where we're going to put our second library in YMCA. Necessary infrastructure for our community to continue to grow. The Service Lake Complex is just our soccer, we're going to put some improvements in there to continue to enhance that beautiful place we have there, so that we can have additional soccer tournaments and opportunities for our youth to play there. Stevenson Park, technically our oldest park in Edmond now, but people don't understand what's underneath Stevenson Park, some of the enhancements. And that also has to do with some of our delays. There's a detention pond underneath Stevenson Park. So all of the other enhancements, retail, commercial that's coming into that area, they don't have to worry about detention ponds. We're taking care of that underneath Stevenson's Park. That's a novel concept, but guess what? It reduces the footprint for having detention ponds everywhere. It's going to be underneath, it is underneath Stevenson Park. So it's going to be a very nice passive park when it opens up. The rocket ship is still going to be there, even though it's not going to be. We have a new 20th, 21st century rocket ship there, but you're going to enjoy it. We're always looking at our quality of life. Then our community development. We had the Urban Land Institute come in. This was a team of experts from all over the country to look at our downtown area and to see what's possible. And some people say, why are you doing that? Because we don't know. Sometimes we get in our own, you're going to hear this word from me, silos, and we only look at our own thing. We don't see anything else. So we brought somebody else to look for us. And so the Land Institute, along with the Chamber, EEDA, UCO, and other investors, helped us bring that in. We had the housing assessment. People are asking, why are we doing a housing assessment? We don't know what's out there. We have an idea, but why not bring in some experts for them to do the evaluation to tell us what is out there? And that housing assessment aimed to ensure that the suitable housing options are available in Edmond for all residents, regardless of their background, ages, and income. When I moved here 36 years ago, I was a GS9 at Tinker Air Force Base. I don't think a GS9 at Tinker Air Force Base can afford to live out here. I had 3 kids. The salary is not enough. It's just another opportunity that we took advantage of to bring in outside experts to look at Edmond. There's going to be some important analytics there that are not only help the city in future planning, but other economic entities that are looking at to move to Edmond. Our downtown center city complex, we're changing the landscape of downtown. We're consolidating offices so that our staff can be in offices that they can perform their job, but it's also going to create a safer environment for the employees and for the citizens who walk into that building. We're creating the opportunity for economic growth in Edmond. One of the things that I want you also to understand is that when we've done things over the past, we're creating an environment for growth. It might not happen today, but it can happen tomorrow. But if you don't create that environment, it won't happen. Our Edmond Mobility Commission, we're looking at how is it easier to traverse our town. Sometimes it's difficult just to walk downtown or through our community. We're looking at how can we improve that. You all travel in your summer vacations to areas. I've heard some of y'all speak, oh, we didn't take our car. We didn't use our car. We used the moped, we used the bikes. Well, why can't we have those same opportunities here in Edmond? Our mental health assessment. This is a huge initiative for us because we collaborated. It's a collaborative, data-driven document that looked at not just Edmond, but the region around us. What are some of our mental health issues that we're having? Not only from us adults, the senior citizens, our youth, our workers. Where do they get health? I talk to the chief, we always say, what door do you knock on when you have an issue? That's what that assessment is trying to help with, is trying to figure out, to help the community, what door, what are available out there for you to do that. And then we're always looking for the future. Fire station number 6 is coming in. I talked to you earlier about supply chain issues. We've already started ordering the trucks for fire station number 6, and we haven't turned dirt yet at the station because we know of supply chain issues. But that shows you how proactive the fire department's being to order those things now so that when the station's open, the truck is there. You can't fight a fire without a truck. Our big thing here, population. I'll get out of the way for you can see it. Look at the count, look here. From 1960, how many of y'all were here in 1960? Ooh, I wasn't. I was 1 year old. So, but look at it, 1980, 34,000. I moved here in 88, we were about 35,000. 2000, 68,000, 2020, 94,000. ACOG's estimating about 130,000. Look at that scale there. When did you come to Edmond and start receiving your Edmond experience? The bottom line, what this shows is Edmond has been growing every day. We've been growing since the land run. I'm sorry, some of you might not like to hear this, but if you're all business people in here, you're probably going to love this. We're going to continue to grow. And that's what we're working on, how to grow smartly throughout the community. Something else that people don't realize, we not only service the 94,000 people that are in Edmond, but I'm serious that when I say August 16th or 17th, the driving patterns in Edmond are going to change. And the reason why I say that is because our largest employer in Edmond is coming back to full scale. And that is our educational system. That from our public schools, UCL will be open, Oklahoma Christian will be open. They influence our traffic patterns around here. So, but part of that is also because we are servicing Deer Creek, Cashing, Stillwater, Guthrie, Langston, Jones, Arcadia. Some of those same people who live in those other communities, they come in Edmond to either work or play or shop or something. They use our stuff here. So our population goes up. So it could be guesstimated that you might say 94,000, but when everything's up in full throttle, everything's working here, everyone's coming in, it could be 140, 150,000 people that we're servicing here in Edmond. So we have to take that into account also in our population growth. So why do we grow? Our school district. I told you all heard the story. I moved here to Edmond for the school district. But the real reason why I moved here is because my mother-in-law told me to move here. Okay? Because she wanted her grandkids taught in Edmond Public Schools. But just some simple facts here. 11 national blue ribbon schools here in Edmond. We have over 100 6A championships here in Edmond. Already. And then we're starting to see family traditions here in Edmond on our schools. Did you graduate? Are you a bulldog? Are you a husky? Are you a wolf? That's just showing the maturity of our community, how it's growing here. We have the lowest crime rate of the 10 largest cities in Oklahoma. We have the highest trained and equipped fire and police departments. We have over 30 parks and outdoor activity venues here. We've been named, I don't know how many times, as one of the top 50 best places to live in Edmond. Understand, there's over 19,000 incorporated municipalities across America. To say that you're in the top 50, top 5, top 10, that's something to be proud of. We have a beautiful community here. But please understand, these are the foundations of our community. As the population continues to grow, we must put into place a strategy to give each of those pillars reinforcement. Just like the foundation on your house, we cannot afford for it to crack and weaken. So how do we do that? What can we do? So let's look into the future. I don't have a crystal ball, but we're going to look. How are we going to meet the expectations of our community? I'm challenging you today that we need to have intentional collaboration in our community. That is the theme of the day, intentional collaboration. One of the examples, let me give you an example of our current business model. So right now we have the 2000 CIP budget. It's projected to bring in about $18 billion this year. In today's dollars, if we wanted to widen a road in Edmond from 2 lanes to 4 for 1 mile and improving the intersection, that would have consumed that entire budget of $18 million that we have in our CIP. That's just 2 miles. No, I'm sorry, that's just 1 mile there. Over the last 20 years, we've spent nearly 50% of that money generated in our 2 CIP funds on transportation needs. Roughly 146 million of the 327 million. This is just one example that clearly shows that our needs are exceeding our funding. Every year during budget, and I've been up on City Council since 2011, and we've said it every time, we just can't continue to live off of our sales tax and our use tax. I'm telling you today, it's time for us to determine a solution and that has buy-in from our community. Because if we don't want that, we're saying that we're happy with the status quo, that we will never have enough money to meet the needs. We will never have enough money with just using our sales tax and use tax. So let's develop a new business model. How about expanding our partnerships? First of all, I don't have the solution. I have ideas. My idea is to trap you all in this room. We have food and water in the hotel. You stay in the hotel, and we put white pieces of paper up here, and we throw all the ideas out here and see what sticks. But then the police chief would arrest me. We have so many partnerships out here right now. We have with our schools, with VOTEC, with UCO, with the Metro Library, with the YMCA. How can we expand those partnerships? How can we look beyond what we currently have? What other partnerships that are out there? Have we even asked? Are there public or private company opportunities out there? What about Tinker Air Force Base, our largest employer out here? Are there some partnerships that we can work with them? Are there other educational entities in Oklahoma that we could have a partnership? What about our healthcare providers? Are there partnerships that we can do there? The bottom line is that when we work together, we've proven that with our Mitch Park and our Center Court, that when more than one entity works together, our dollars go further. Why can't we do that? Why can't we have those questions? So what is our future capacity? Our current business model in the city is a variety of silos created by our respective institutions. When you analyze the model, you see that we all have our silos. And all of the current partnerships have their individual silo. The city of Edmond has its silo. The police department has its silo. The fire department has its silo. There's no one who doesn't have a silo. Yes, there's collaboration with a lot of these entities, but I'm challenging, I want more. I want us to think that when you first think of this, the obvious thing you're probably going to say is no, but I'm going to ask you why. We have the capacity to be great. We have some of the smartest people, not only in the state, but in the country, that are in this room, in this area. I want people to get out of their comfort zone. I want you to think that what is possible, and I call it the art of the possible, because I don't know what it is. We must choose what we have the capacity for, what we need to be great at, and then what we just need to be mediocre at and not do it at all. There is a thing like, let somebody else do that. We don't have the capacity for it, and so why be bad at it? A previous 20 years ago, previous city manager, I was asking for new parkland. He says, Darrell, I don't have enough money to take care of what I have, so we're not going to buy any new land. Well, we got to think into the future. Please remember, the city limit of Edmond is only 87.9 square miles. There's only so much that can be contained in this area, so everyone has the opportunity for the good quality of life experience. So I'm saying, let's not oversaturate. Let's get the good quality of life things we want to have in here. Let's figure out what's good, what's bad. Let's use our analytical reports that have been created to make some future decisions. I don't know what the balance is, but I know that if we get in the room, we can help figure out what the balance is. What do you see here in this picture, up here? This is a Chick-fil-A. This might be some people you might even recognize. This is an event that was downtown Edmond. Here's Chick-fil-A. I don't know how many people are in line to have a meal experience, right? That individual silo. Here's individuals, Edmond residents, citizens. Oh, that's me. Having the same experience, but in a different setting. That's what I'm saying. That's intentional collaboration to the left. That's individual silos to the right. I want us to get together and figure out what's possible. So how do we enhance our version of our current business model? First of all, you got to set some clear goals. You got to prioritize open communication. You have to foster transparency. If y'all don't know anything about me, I'm very transparent. I speak my mind. I tell you how I feel. And I tell you, if I make a mistake, I will tell you I've made a mistake. If I fall down, I will get back up. But I will make mistakes, and I will trip, and I will fall. But I'm going to keep going forward. I want us to change our perspectives on some things. I want us to form better, stronger, bigger strategic alliances. I want us to leverage more our complementary strength. I want to bring together the stakeholders so that we intentionally collaborate, that we intentionally have that conversation to say what's possible. I want to understand that your why, that if you say no to an idea, I want to understand why you said no. I don't want you to feel comfortable with me, the council, and the staff to be able to tell us why. And it's not an embarrassing thing. It's just, do you understand why you're saying why? And even if you say yes, I want to understand why are you saying yes? Because that might help us to say yes on something. I want us to get uncomfortable. I want us to be bolder. I want us to dream. We just can't have the second largest, what is it? Well, Crest is probably the largest grocery store in Oklahoma. And what did you say, Sherry? 2.1, the one on 15th Street brings in $2.1 million a week. 2.1 million a week. You think what this one's going to bring, because it's, okay. So what's possible? The thing is, we don't know unless we communicate it, until we ask, until we get in the room. We have to look to collaborate our silos. Oh, I want us to bring some of them down. I want to be Team Edmond. So what is next? I'm going to be setting up some meetings with some key stakeholders. Council, we're going to be setting up meetings with key stakeholders. We want to receive the community input. We want to understand who wants to get out of their comfort zone and collaborate for the betterment of the community. Intentionally collaborate to define and address our needs for road improvements, because that need to be defined. People say we need road improvements. What are we talking about? Define it specifically. The growth in educational opportunities, our youth sports enhancements, our tourism generation. What else can we do to generate more tourism in Edmond? Increase our shared quality of life, and of course, our citizen safety, just to name a few. As I said, I don't have the answers today, but I know that this council and the staff are willing to sit in a room with the stakeholders to address our needs and how to achieve them. If we don't do that, you're telling me that you're satisfied with the status quo. I'm not. That's why I'm still here. I'm not. So, what say you? Are you willing to join me? Please remember. Thank you. Thank you. The state of our city is strong. It has proven to be resilient through tough times. And we have gone through some tough times in Edmond. We've gone through things that we have never experienced before. We made it. We came together as a community. Together with intentional collaboration, we can continue to accomplish remarkable things. With you being a part of the next journey, our pillars will be strengthened. I hope the next generation of Edmond residents can look back and see a room like this filled with business leaders, elected officials, educators, constituents, that they put the future generations' needs in their strategic planning. We will continue to improve our quality of life. We will continue to enhance our educational partners. We will continue to enhance the first responders who make our city safe. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for letting me be part of your day-to-day, and I thank you for the honor of being your mayor. Thank you.